Hello, welcome to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker, a real estate investor helping you realize your dream of owning a home or investing in one. Today's program, I'm going to be speaking about the FSA benefit program that some jobs have. FSA stands for Flexible Spending Account. Now, a lot of people who are new to the corporate world, or even some people who have been in the corporate world, don't elect to choose this because they don't really quite understand it. So hopefully what I'm going to share with you, I will help break it down so that you can understand what it's used for. And those of you who are already in the program, you may not realize that you can also use the money for other things as well. Essentially, what the FSA is, the Flexible Spending Account Program, that is when you elect to have money taken out of your paycheck for healthcare purposes before any tax is taken out. You see, you decide how much you want to take out of your pay. Let me give you an example. If you make $90,000 a year and you agree that you want $2,000 taken out of your paycheck for the FSA program, then you will only be taxed on $88,000 for that year. Now, you are not automatically enrolled in the program when you sign on for your job. You have to elect whether or not you want to be in the program in the first place. And you have to do this election every single year that you are on the job. It is not an automatic rollover, or they don't say, oh, well, you were in it last year. Do you want to be in it this year? The only time they do that, of course, is, in my case, when they know you and you've been on the job for a considerable amount of time. Yes, they may ask you at that point, but otherwise they don't even say anything. Now, for the most part, the FSA program is a use it or lose it type of an account. Now, but then when Obama came into office, he modified it and said that if you had $500 left by the end of the year, you can roll that money into next year. You won't lose it. Trump, it's still the same way now that he's in office, but he has mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, that he wanted to reverse it back to the way it originally was. The other thing that you need to take note is if you leave your job, you have a set amount of time to spend that FSA money once you depart, even if that other company has an FSA program. Each company treats FSA slightly different, so that's why you can't just say, okay, I'm going to roll it over into another company. No, you have to spend that money before you actually get another job. The other thing that has changed is a long time ago, way before Obama, you used to be able to have both an HSA, which is a healthcare savings account, and an FSA, the flexible spending account, at the same time. That is no longer the case. Now you have to have one or the other. And just to backtrack to let you know, the healthcare savings account, you can actually hold physical property inside of that and let that property accrue as far as an income, and take the income from that property, use it towards your healthcare expenses, and you wouldn't be taxed on that. The FSA does not let you hold property at all. You see, most people who elect to be part of the FSA, they do so particularly when they know that they're going to be having operations, or if they have to occasionally or frequently visit a doctor for visits, so they use the money for copay, or they may use the money for sunglasses or to pay the portion of the glasses or sunglasses that their regular insurance is not going to pay. However, what many people don't know is that you can make certain home improvements to your house, buy certain furniture, or travel with the FSA benefit as long as you get doctor's approval. You see, your doctor has to write up a letter of medical necessity outlining how the medical condition that you have needs certain things installed in your house or on the land that your property is on, or that you need certain equipment placed into that house. If additional money is needed, then your doctor has to write another letter of medical necessity for the next current plan year. And that letter is submitted so that once you get your receipts, you submit that to the FSA program and they will definitely reimburse you. In that letter, make sure that it shows that the improvements will aid in the diagnosis, cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of whatever disease or condition that you may have. Now, you have to take note of this. If the expenses are permanent and they actually increase the value of your property, the excess value is not reimbursable. You will only get a portion of the cost. The portion of the cost that it would take to install whatever it is that you're going to be placing in. And from the list that I saw, there's only 3 things that you would not get reimbursed 100%. It would be the value of the improved value of the home minus the actual cost. That's what you're going to get. And those items would be for the elevator, and that is for people who install elevators in their home. Normally there's a mobility problem or a heart problem. The second one, or you can sort of put the last 2 together, hot tub and swimming pool. Again, those 2 are for people who have muscle aches and pain and also may have some mobility problems, and they may need those particular things to help them get back on track. And because I know for a fact that when I had torn my Achilles tendon, there were many people who said getting in the pool, getting in the water, and doing certain exercises would help me get my foot back together. I didn't get into the pool that much or that often, but I would say it probably definitely did, because I didn't have to have surgery. All I had was a cast for a while. They took that off. I did those exercises, went to the physical therapist, and it did take me a while to get back to normal, but I do walk without a cane and without crutches, thank God. So anyway, moving along. Those are the 3 things, as I mentioned before, where you probably won't get all of your money back that you have spent. But here are some others that you might, depending on how much you decide that you want taken out, of course. Any exit or entrance ramps that you put in your home. If you have to widen the doorways at the entrances or exits of your home. If you have to widen or modify hallways or any interior doorways. If you have to install railings, support bars, or modify any room in your home. If you have to lower or modify kitchen cabinets and equipment. If you have to move or modify electrical outlets and fixtures. If you have to install porch lifts and other forms of lifts anywhere in the home, if you have to modify your stairways, if you have to modify the hardware on your doors, if you have to put handrails or grab bars anywhere in the home, if you have to grade the ground around your home. But of course, be careful with this, because if it's not graded in the proper way, then you may be inviting floods into your home. So it's definitely important to make sure you get a reputable licensed contractor who's insured and bonded. Here are a few other common items that I'm going to list right now that the flexible spending account program does pay for. Air conditioners for anybody who has any sort of breathing problem, or I believe also if you have suffered a heat stroke in the past. Air purifiers, dehumidifier, and humidifier. Elevated toilet seats, again for those with mobility problems. Recliner chairs, inclinators. Now I'm going to move on to other areas that may affect you or a dependent that you are responsible for. That would be home nurse, whether you need it or your spouse needs it. Nursing home for yourself or your parents. Now, not all FSA will do parents. I'm just going to let you know up front right now. So that is something that you're going to definitely have to check. Assisted living, normally that's something for the parents. And then halfway house, either for yourself, your spouse, or your children. I'm not sure when it comes to a halfway house if parents would be covered. Again, that's something that you would have to double check. Other areas that the FSA helps is travel for medical reasons. If you have to get on an airplane because the hospital that can correct your problem is in another state or city, tolls that you have to pay in order to drive to the hospital, any parking fees that you incur, any rental, if you have to rent a car, the mileage on the car. If you have your own automobile and it has to be modified because of whatever accident or disease you've been in, FSA covers that. And if you need a handicap license, FSA will cover that. Now, me personally, when I had my accident, I did not have to modify my automobile, but I did get a temporary, not a permit, but just a tag, a handicap tag. And also I got accepted into Accessoride, and they did pay for that as well. That's my own personal experience that I am quite definite and quite sure of. However, what I want you to do, now that I've shared all of this information that many people don't take advantage of, who are in the program, and many who are not because they didn't even know that this existed, I still want you to double check with your benefits department. And if your employer has a dedicated FSA line, I think you should definitely check that, because as mentioned before, each job has that benefit plan set up differently, because there's like a lot of little different sub plans underneath. FSA is sort of like the umbrella, and some have a set maximum as far as how much you can take out. I believe some have it at $27,000, and then others, they use a percentage such as 6% as far as how much you can pull out of your paycheck every year to pay for your medical expenses, putting it under FSA. So that's basically what I want you to do. And then, of course, check with your accountant for whatever it is that you were not reimbursed for, and even some of the things that you were reimbursed for, in case there's something else that you can claim on your taxes regarding the disability, the medical condition, the disease, or whatever it is that you are experiencing. Last tip, put everything on your credit card. This way you can rack up more points when you're paying for stuff. Yes, you'll be reimbursed, but the reason why you want to put it on your credit card is because points add up, and you can normally, well, first of all, definitely get a credit card that has points. First of all, points or miles, it has to offer you something. And then, as I mentioned before, those things add up, and you can use it to discount on travel or whatever else it is that you're interested in. So, well, folks, that's all I have for you tonight. Hopefully, the information that I've shared will help you make smart financial moves. Feel free to share this among others. Remember, each one, reach one, teach one. Bye for now. Until next time, have a good night.